You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're
Hey,
great.
Derek.
Are we gonna have nicknames for each other each episode?
You're
I think
great.
we should.
You're great.
I'm Underboob. That's the original. That's the OG. So you're Nev Nips. I'm Underboob.
Oh wait, let's not give away the studio production value we have here.
It's pretty low.
You're probably going to sing anyway, so you might as well just use
That's
that
a
part,
good
you
point.
know?
You hate
great.
that lady. You're
I
great.
do. I really hate her, but you're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great. Listener, if you don't know, there's a lady that talks when we turn on the recording on Zoom.
Can they not hear it?
I always cut it out.
Oh, all right. So now it
So,
just sounds like
Really,
we're insane.
it's really you sounding insane, which is
Or like
why
I'm-
I edited it that way, because I thought it'd be funnier
That's hilarious.
if they
And-
don't know and they think
Well,
you're
I
crazy.
didn't know that this whole time. So I thought you and I both were like ganging up on Siri or whoever yells at us every time. And now it
Usually-
just sounds like I'm mad at you as soon as we start.
Also, I don't think she comes in either. She doesn't come through when you record.
Anyways, there's this lady that comes on every time we start the recording, and it's like, you are now recording, but like really loud.
Recording in
I'm like, "You
progress.
Fucking bitch. I hope everyone was really confused until just now as to why
I am a
was saying
robot
that.
lady.
It's like, don't you dare. And we did a whole You're Great series where we were like, you're great, but not that lady. And everyone's like, who the fuck is that lady? Who are you talking about?
Who's this lady?
Who's that lady?
Who's that lady? Crazy Zoom robot lady.
Anyways, welcome. Welcome to the Hug Life podcast. I am Mike, not crazy Coletta.
And I am Monica, hater of robot ladies, Nevi.
It's true. That's a true one.
You want me to do our plugs? I got some plugs, some show
Yeah.
plugs.
Why don't you start us off this time?
You got it. This Saturday,
April 30th.
April 30th, I will be in North Bend at North Bend Theater. Then on Sunday, I'm going to be doing a fundraising show for a sketch group I'm a part of.
You're
in
part of a
Tacoma.
sketch group?
Yeah, I've been a part of a sketch group for a while. We do like video sketches,
Oh.
but I actually haven't been in one. And the one day I went was the one day I could go, and I just kind of helped. I was like a crew,
Oh.
but they didn't
We
really
would
have a
love to
job for me.
support these videos. What the hell?
Well, the videos are being edited right now, so
I see. Well, you keep us posted.
yeah,
we
and
will
that
repost.
show's in Tacoma. I believe it's at Bob's Java Jive. I could
Nice.
be wrong, but I
Live
believe
close
it's
to
there.
there.
If it's wrong, then I'll post it on my website and it'll be correct. And then on I thought I had one more show this coming week. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm full of crap. I'm full of crap. I don't see one. It's just Cinco de
Well,
Mayo.
You got anything in the next like month that sounds important? Go ahead and toss it in there. besides
I'm
the
going to be
secret show.
headlining
Ooh.
at Sigillo Cellars in Chelan for Rotten Apple
yeah.
Productions with my good friend Lisa Wallen. We're gonna
Fuck
go
yeah.
there. Part of the Nom Nom Shams. We're good. We're gonna be there. Have I told you about Nom Nom Sham?
Nope.
When you introduce someone to a new restaurant or food, you are the Nom Nom Shaman.
I see. So, I
So
got it.
the Nom Nom Shams are a group of people that introduce each other to foods they never tried.
I like that. You're just part of groups I didn't know about, apparently.
You know,
We're just
I
sitting
have a
here
life
learning
outside
about-
this podcast, Monica. I'm not just sitting here awaiting your beck and call.
That's fair. But we've also been talking a lot lately, and never once has this come up.
You know, what can I say? I'm pretty mysterious.
It is true. Oh, mysterious Mike over here. Okay. Is that
Old mysterious melancholy Michael over here. Monica, what do you got?
I got shows coming up this week on the 28th, which is the Thursday. I'm in Tacoma at Nate Jackson's Comedy Club doing a gay show, gay stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, oops, I almost erased it. Friday, I'm in Kelso at the Kelso Theater Pub. Saturday, I'm in Mount Vernon earlier in the day, but it's sold out. And then I'm in Bellingham, Washington that evening at 8 p.m. at the Lucas Hicks Theater.
It's a
And
double.
it is, yeah. And it's me and Gabriel Rutledge. It's 2 headliners for the price of 1.
Gosh, you're just going everywhere with Gabriel.
Well,
I feel like, and I love him.
I know.
I'm jealous.
This worked out that we could do this. We were actually booked at the winery, and then I was like, "What if we do our own show afterwards?" And he was like, "Yeah," and it's going well. And so tickets are moving, and I really
Moving,
mean that. So if
shaking.
you are in Bellingham and you're coming, I say get those tickets now. Okay,
Monica, you're not supposed to say you really mean that, because next time we say tickets
Next
are
time they're
moving,
gonna be like,
people
I don't
might
know.
think we're not being truthful.
I just meant they're walking back and forth. They're not actually.
We actually
being
have them on
purchased.
a conveyor belt. You got to grab
Yeah.
them. It's kind of a challenge carnival game situation.
Oh, that would be fun. Anyways,
I think it'd be a fun time too.
oh, what if you could? It doesn't matter.
No, finish your
Have more.
thought. It all matters.
What if that would be solid marketing if you like was a prize at the carnival or something?
Like you gave tickets away that way. What if it was like one of those booths that they fill full of cash and you grab the cash, but it's
just
mostly paper, but
Coffee
there are
tickets?
like 4 or 5 tickets in there.
That would be fun.
So you go in the booth and you might grab tickets, but you might also grab paper.
Or like a coupon or something.
Give yourself a coupon.
Okay, then the next week, Thursday, I'm in Bremerton at the Admiral Theater, Friday in Everett at the Everett Historic Theater, and Saturday in Seattle at the Triple Door for 2 shows that are both sold out. That's all with Mr. D, Joe Dombrowski. But yeah, Bremerton and Everett still have tickets, so get those. Then the next weekend, I'm in the Upper Left Fest, which is a festival that Seattle
Because we're
is
in the
now,
upper left part of the state. I recall. That's why it's
And
named
the-
after that.
and the old country too. So, yes, so
Well, I
I'll
guess
be
I meant
part
country.
of that. But check that out because now Seattle has a festival, so that's pretty cool.
Festival,
Then
Seattle.
we got Astoria, Oregon, and then Kent, Washington at the Four Horsemen Brewing, which is, will you be there?
Oh, I'm going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, did I just forget to plug my own show? Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I
Maybe.
just been going farther in advance because, sometimes we have hug flexions, but then Seattle and then Boise, the Memorial Day weekend. I'm in Boise at the Lounge at the End of the Universe, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Get those tickets now because it's a holiday weekend and it makes me nervous.
So is the Lounge at the End of the Universe a club, kind of?
Kind of now, yeah. It wasn't before. It was supposed to be just kind of an art space that you could rent, but now they're doing comedy. It seems
that,
like every weekend.
Take over Liquid Laughs in a way? Because Liquid Laughs, did they not make it through the pandemic?
They did not make it through the pandemic. However,
that was a great club. I liked that club a lot.
The Lounge did start before then. Like it was open. They were open at the same time, but they weren't doing a lot of comedy. Then when Liquid closed, it seems like they've kind of filled the club gap at least.
The old club gap, like a thigh gap, if you will. Very similar.
Yes. What are some other things people can do? Oh, God.
Other
Yeah,
things
paper
people could
cut.
do is you could go to, I'm ignoring you, go to huglifepodcast.com or monicanevi.com or colettacomedy.com and click on the Amazon banner. Shop as you normally would. And that gives us a little something on the side for Monica and I to use for financial purposes.
Yeah.
Am I talking
Paying
about
for
rent
a
here?
wedding.
Yeah, I'm talking about rent and weddings. Okay.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Other
both.
thing you can do is you can donate $1 a month to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/huglifepodcast. That gives you access to every single bonus episode we've ever done,
Yeah.
which is remarkable when you think about how many we've done. Now,
We've done a
do
lot.
they show up late? Yeah, but it's fine. You still get
Oh,
them.
yeah. You
They
get
come
'em.
out the month later, but we still label them the month before, which means it's still fine.
It was
everybody.
like 2 weeks. It was not a month.
It was not a big deal.
don't
Everyone
know.
loves it. We'll do another Patreon soon because we have one coming up at the end of April, which is exciting,
Yes.
time. So lastly, you can go support our dear sweet friend Danny Dodge. That's studiododge.com or at Studio Dodge on Instagram. Purchase her art. We love her. You're gonna love her art too. You know what? It's a kind of a gift giving season. Mother's Day is coming up. You know what
Mother's
moms love? A
Day.
painting of a
Ooh.
vagina, because that's where you came
Yeah.
out of.
Or
them.
flowers. She's got some good flower work and stuff on there.
If you
too.
want to go not full vagina, you can go for the flowers. It's
Where
probably
is
better.
my Danny Dodge painting that I have?
Was it a vagina? I forget. Which one
No,
did you get?
it's a lady laying down that it looks like
the
a mountain.
mountains.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
I
that is a
forget
cool
what
one.
I think, and there's a quote on it. It says something like, "What if the world doesn't show up?" or something.
I think
it's
she
nice.
also does commissions, if I recall, too. So
I
if you
think
were
so,
like,
too.
I like Danny's style, but I don't know, I want this thing specifically, and I don't know how to
Mhm.
produce that. She can fill that gap for you, that mental gap, and make your thing real.
Mhm.
She's done that for me multiple times when I have silly ideas for a t-shirt and I'm like, how do you do
Yes,
this. And
we've
she's
had-
always there.
We've had listeners of the podcast use her for t-shirts as well. Had a
That's
bachelorette
right.
party order t-shirts from her.
That is so good. Anyway,
Fuck
that's
yeah.
our plugs. We did our
Yeah,
plugs.
We
We've
did
plugged.
great. We plugged a lot of stuff.
Now, Monica,
I feel plugged up.
you feel plugged up. Not regular, very irregular, Monica, right now. Very, very sad. So, do you have any lexical embraces? 'Cause I have one right now that I can think
Oh my
of.
God, I forgot about that part of the show.
Well, then let me do mine while you think of yours.
Sounds good.
I am lexically embracing, really taking the time and effort to make a really good meal. And I am specifically talking about the amazing pulled pork I made in my smoker.
Really
2 weeks
tooting
ago.
your own horn.
I
aren't you?
think, you know what? If comedy doesn't work out, I might become a pit boss, barbecue
cool.
pit boss. Yeah. Woo. But I
Yeah.
just make pulled pork. And it's an electric smoker. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. It takes
we
a
end
long
up
time.
talking about these things, and then I want to have some, and you've never.
Well,
smoked
you know,
anything
I
for me.
invited you to my party that I made it, and you said you had a thing, which is fine, and you didn't
Yes,
show
you were
up.
Seeing my family and my grandparents.
I
came and everything.
mean,
it was nice.
I guess, what do you get away, Monica? Your family or pulled pork? You got to choose. You know, we did them on King's Hawaiian rolls. They're really good.
That's pretty fancy.
I got a good smoke apple.
You left
apple.
that out. Would have
I
left
got-
my grandparents there.
Would have just kicked them to the curb, left them there. But we did a little King's Hawaiian roll,
You still
pork,
did an Easter egg hunt.
slaw, barbecue sauce that our friend Kevin makes. That is really good.
I like it.
Yes, very good. But how was your Easter egg hunt? Tell me all about
Nice.
it.
Well, this year it was a smaller number of people than we normally do. If you haven't heard, the Nevi Easter egg hunt is pretty intense in that there was no children there for many years. And so we still did one anyways. And my aunt and my mom would hide mostly plastic eggs all over all over the backyard. And then everyone else would hunt for them. Whoever gets the most wins. But also in the eggs, sometimes candy, sometimes money. And when I say money, I mean like change. And then they would make their own coupons from time to time.
This is intriguing.
Yes, it would always be a duplicate photo. Do you remember when you had like actual rolls of film, just the little ones?
Oh yeah,
And
you get
then-
like school pictures. You have the duplicates.
Well, yeah, I mean, or just any, for some reason, even with what are they called, disposable cameras and stuff, any film, they would always, like the default was to print two.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the picture was accidentally of your foot or whatever, then you had two of those. So my uncle would use those as what the coupon was written on. And it was always like, you get to go to lunch with Ray to Rubatino's, which is a shitty restaurant in Renton. Sorry, Rubatino's. Just random stuff or whatever. And then alcohol. There'd be little liquor bottles in some of them too, which we only did. Normally it's like 120 eggs or something. This year it was like 32 or something because it was just me, Aaron, my grandpa, and my dad. Those were the only people
Hunting
hunting because
actively
my
hunting.
mom hides them, and then grandma, she's just hanging out inside. But it gets intense, and I won by a lot, but it was okay. And my mom, this is the first year that she did like kind of the random stuff in. I have a video I will send you. As we were opening them, she was laughing so fucking hard, and it was
I wanna see this
hilarious.
video.
It was beautiful because we also do this thing at Christmas. We call it cousins gifts, where we find some random shit in our rooms and give them to each other. The three cousins, we just give them to each other, and it's hilarious and it's stupid and whatever. My mom was like, I took inspiration from that, and she just like found random stuff around, but she was like, you guys are still so excited because we were. It was just like, we were like, look, I got 62 cents in a tiny maraca, like just
That's
like,
great.
it was. But she's like crying laughing in this video, and it made me so happy. It was like the best little moment. I don't know, everything's been kind of crazy, so it was nice to be with family and being silly, and everyone likes to see their mom happy, right?
Who doesn't? I like to see Pam
Yeah.
happy.
Everyone likes to see my mom happy.
Everyone
honestly.
wants to see Pam happy. You don't want to see Pam happy. You're a heartless monster. Yeah, I've said it.
But it was a good
Our
time had by all.
hunt-
I guess maybe that's my lexical embrace, is seeing your own mother happy.
That's good. Our hunt, we do everyone gets a 6-pack.
Right,
of
it's a beer
and then
one,
we
huh?
hide. Katie hides the beer, and she's very upset with me if I go out there and say like 10 to the smoker. She's like, "You better not look outside."
I know my mom does that too because I was grilling corn, and she
Yeah.
was like, "Are you out there looking around?" And I was like, "No, I'm cooking for you.
I'm like, Pam, come on
I
now.
am not a cheater. My dad is. He had picked it up before she said go. Still lost.
Love Ron style though. Love that style. That's some real dad
He
swag.
always gets the ones up high.
Oh yeah, he's a very tall man.
Yeah, that's especially in our family. He's oddly taller than everyone else.
He's a tall man. As they say.
Mhm.
Now
Mhm.
that was really good, Monica. That was a
Thank
really,
you.
really
Yeah.
good lexical embrace. Do you want to move on to our next segment that I
I
think
do.
people know us for?
You did so much
A
preparation
lot.
for this. So
I really did. I really bent over backwards.
yeah. All right. Hey guys, good news.
Hi, welcome to the Good News. It's me, Coletta. Air horn news.
Air
That was
horn
air
news?
horn news.
Air horn news.
Air horn news. NASA develops a lunar backpack. It's in quotes, which is why I made the quote saying to aid new moon explorers. This backpack, Monica, it's pretty fucking cool.
I was gonna say it better be cool after all these quotes.
Do you know what Lidar is?
If you can tell if someone's lying.
That's okay. That is also Lidar.
I don't know.
Son of a bitch. So Lidar is a type of radar. It lets you okay, so this is the description from the Lidar, called frequency modulated continuous wave Lidar, in order to provide Doppler velocity and range for millions of measurement points per second. What this means is it just shoots out these beams and it gives you like a real-time topographical map of everything around you. So the idea is you're on the moon, you wear this backpack, and then in your heads up display of your helmet, you'll see a map of everything around you as you walk, which is
that sounds like
fucking
a video
amazing.
game or like
it does
like a Marvel movie when they're like, wait, hold on, let me check.
It does. It sounds 100% like a video game or a Marvel movie, which is why it's so dope. And the cool part is the name of the backpack is called the Kinematic Navigation and Cartography Knapsack, also known as the KNaCK.
Ooh, the KNaCK.
NASA's got some pretty cool acronyms. They're pretty good at acronyms.
They love acronyms.
So it's essentially like 3D mapping the terrain around you as you walk in high resolution. So it's 100% sci-fi.
Pretty fancy, yeah.
And have you heard of the Artemis mission? That's the new
future.
mission program to send astronauts to the moon. And the goal is to specifically here, I'm on the website for NASA for Artemis, if you want to know more about it. With Artemis missions, NASA will land the first woman and first person of color on the moon using innovative technologies to explore more of the lunar surface than ever before.
And this is exciting, not a hate crime. We're not just like shooting people up there.
Yeah, we're not just shooting people up there and leaving them up there. This is exciting because it's like we're going to build a moon base. They're going to look for helium-3, which is very expensive. And if we got that, we could just sell it, just making lots of money because capitalism makes the world go round.
I was going to say, is this helpful?
I mean, it's not helpful. Can I tell you about how I got really mad today? You want to end the segment before I tell you how I got really mad? Just end it.
Yes, that feels like it's not the same, but this is exciting. What a cool backpack. Hey guys, that was good news.
Okay. So, you know of Elon Musk. Yeah. Billionaire.
Oh, that one?
Super villain.
Yes, he is for sure.
So he's purchasing Twitter for $44 billion, right?
Correct. Yes.
He tweeted last year that if someone told him how he could end world hunger, he would just do it. And then a professor from a university who studies this tweeted him back saying you could end world hunger for $7 billion. That's all it would cost.
What if?
And then he never responded to that guy's tweet and instead bought Twitter a year later. And people are calling him out on it, which made me happy because it's the first thing I thought of when I saw that he was buying Twitter.
Yeah.
But people had already beaten me to the punch. So I'm like, that's great because
a lot of people had to even dumb TV show hosts are like, wait, couldn't you use that money for something else? Like,
yeah. And he's buying Twitter instead, even though Twitter is not broken. Like, it's just, I mean, business wise, it's broken, but hey, who gives a shit? Let it die. That's what the free market is, right?
Well, yeah. And I actually kind of like Twitter again because it's not as social media-y as the other ones, I feel like, but I could see how that would make it less profitable and also I've heard the reason he's buying it is because he doesn't want to be censored on that said platform.
Which is stupid because it's not censorship if it's a private company. This has been a thing that's been told a billion times that no one listens to and no one cares about.
Well, and do we think he's not going to also censor things as the business owner
He's going to
that
censor
he doesn't
negative
like?
things about him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
There's a Twitter account called Elon Musk's Jet that just tracks where Elon Musk goes in his private jet and how much carbon emissions he puts into the atmosphere.
That's fucking
And
hilarious.
it's a ton. And I'm sure that account's going to get banned right away, to the point where the account called it out like, hey, if we get banned on Twitter after this purchase, here's where all our other stuff is. It's like Instagram,
does this
Facebook.
mean we're getting Trump on Twitter back?
They talked about that and they said that he doesn't want to go back, is what he claims.
Even with this fella in charge?
I don't know. I mean, Trump's in some big doo-doo because he's currently being
always
fined $10,000 a day for not following a subpoena. So
yeah, he's an idiot. Anyways,
he's the fucking worst.
This is not a political podcast.
It's not. I just get so
It's also
fired
not
up
an
when I'm like,
economic podcast.
if I was a billionaire and if you had $100 billion, $1 billion is an
That
insane amount of
should
money.
be, oh yeah, but that should be a good news story. That should be what happened. Elon Musk responds to a tweet by using $7 billion, which turns out he has plenty more billions.
That wouldn't even tap his over. He still would have over 100 billion left.
Right. He uses the $7 billion to create a program, whatever needed to happen, you know?
I just hate it. I just hate how it's all lies.
It's just how.
And yet so many dudes are out there like being like, he's the best.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
so smart.
It's
He's the
because,
best person.
and if you are one of those people, I'm just telling you right now that he wants you to think that because it keeps you where you are. He wants you to think that you can be him and you cannot be. So when these guys are like, oh yeah, I can be an entrepreneur too and be a billionaire too. No, you cannot. And he wants you to keep thinking that because then it doesn't make you do anything about the current situation with these billionaires. That's pretty, it's
He got millions in seed money to start his rich person life.
All of
so
them.
That's why just like people are like, oh, I'm gonna be like that too. I'm like, no, you're not. The only self-made billionaire, and that term I use very loosely, is Oprah. And
yes.
And that's very like, also she's done some pretty shitty things like put Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil on television who are fucking monsters.
Fair.
So,
but the only person that like really came from like being poor and then became a billionaire. And maybe
it's like
Rihanna.
When I was a kid and everyone was like voting for George W. Bush, and I'm like, hey, do you make less than $50,000 a year? Because he doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah,
you do.
but that's
like,
pretty standard for presidential voting for some reason. But that's what it is. That's what they're selling you, this American dream that's not realistic because they want you to fall in line with what they're wanting. And that's why they say that being a hippie or whatever is bad, even though it's not, because they just want you to demonize the things that they don't want you to do. That's all. They're just trying to control you.
Tyler Smith went to a restaurant that had a sign that said hippies and long hairs and go to the back. I would describe Tyler as a long hair, though. He's got very long hair.
For sure. Well,
it's so beautiful. It's such nice, silky, smooth hair.
He's a pot guy. Anyways.
Hey, I'm a pot guy.
Okay. I feel like we got distracted here.
A little off the rails. Sorry, everybody.
But maybe we could make this roll into what we were going to positive spin a little bit.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Because when you originally brought this idea up, I was thinking about people who actually end up working in these scenarios. So they live there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then also you could, if you're a billionaire, hypothetically, you could just be on vacation all the time. So we wanted to positive spin staying on vacation too long.
Yeah. And what makes me think of this story is pre the Vegas trip I went on for comedy. The first time I ever went to Vegas, Katie and I went in like 2012 or something like that, 2011. And we got a deal that was like 4 nights, 5 days. And we thought it was awesome. And then by day 3, we were all like, let's go home. We want to go home.
Vegas
we have more nights in Vegas.
Is tough.
Yeah, Vegas is just too long.
That's so funny because, okay, obviously you travel with stand-up and you work and stuff. And sometimes it's really long, but it's not a vacation per se.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Vegas, I didn't even think I'd started stand-up yet. Yeah. I was there for 7 days in August.
It's too long.
No, it was not good. No, it was bad. Anyways, but then you start having to create a normalcy on vacation. Like you have to like start a routine so that you don't go
Yeah.
crazy. You know what I mean? And then what just popped up on my Facebook today was when I was in Hawaii for Cameron and Kira's wedding, because I was where they got married on Maui for 7 days. And then 3 days before that, I was on Hawaii doing shows. And so I was there for like 10 days. And you start to be like, I don't think I can do this forever. You know, like you try to create a life for yourself in this short amount of time that you've been there, where you're like, I gotta work out or something, you know, because I'm just like drinking and eating and doing nothing basically is what I was doing. But yeah,
You know
I
what's
sleep until
weird?
1.
When we were on the tour, it never felt that way because we were always on the move.
Yeah,
That was
'cause
the
we're-
key.
There was always a plan. That was the
Yeah.
thing about Hawaii, is that I got there like 3 or 4 days before anybody else that was even part of the wedding. So I was just alone on Maui, which was cool and fun actually, and a little bit cathartic at times, where it was like, here, let me think too much, you know, like I let me go through all my problems. But at some point you go, okay, I can see who did what I'm doing now and decided to stay forever and now works at a resort or something. I can see who comes for 5 days every few months because they know that they can't live here, but they like it a lot. And then you can see the other people like us who are like at the end of their at the end of their trip, you know, just like, I gotta go home. I need to get back to the life.
Yeah, I got so much to do.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it makes you grateful for your home life, you know, because you fantasize and you put vacation on a pedestal all the time. And then once you're finally on it, you're like, actually, I got a pretty good thing going at home, you know?
Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah, what's
Yeah.
weird is the one time I went to Hawaii for Frank's wedding, I feel like I wasn't there long enough.
How long were
Like
you there
I
for?
left early. I was there like 5 days,
Oh.
but I left early.
Still a long time.
And
yeah.
I was like, man, this is the first time that's ever happened. Usually I do want to go home. That's how I knew that like vacation was special, is I wanted to stay. But I'm like,
You know-
you want to have that feeling when you leave, like you want to stay.
Yeah,
You don't want to be like,
yeah.
oh, I want to go home.
Right. That's
Which
an
is
issue. And
usually what
maybe
happens.
that's what makes it like a cooler place to go to, is somewhere you're like, you do feel relaxed. But like, I think my wanting to come home sometimes comes from a constant need to be productive or like proving myself at all times. And when you're on vacation, I'm not like that. So if you either didn't have the pressure of that or could find out a way to continue to be productive in a scenario like being on fucking Hawaii, then it would be okay. My grandparents traveled a lot once they, I was going to say graduated.
When they graduated
Retired.
from working.
When they graduated work, when they retired, and they would go to Hawaii or wherever for like 3-4 weeks. And it was just, they would go to the beach and the pools and hang, and they're not even really big drinkers. So it's like, I don't know what they're up to, surfing. But it's but then there's no, I mean, you're retired at that point, so you're not really feeling pressure to do stuff. They also golf a lot, but
They golf too. Your grandparents?
Oh yeah, that's where it comes from. My great grandfather was a professional golfer.
What? I didn't know this about your life.
My grandfather read us a news
on your dad's side
article.
or your mom's side?
My dad's side. My grandfather read us a news article about him and like cried all the way through it because it was like him and Jack Nicklaus and some of these other really well-known names. And he was up there. Lou Nevi was up there. And the
old Lou Nevi. Can you Google him? Have you tried Googling him?
I haven't tried, but you could do it.
Do you want me to do it right now? Live on the podcast? Can I Google Lou Nevi? I'm gonna do
But
it.
He was a grump and he taught my dad how to golf, and that's why he's good. And then they taught me, and yeah, it just kind of goes down.
Golfer.
Hey.
Louis Nevi?
Sure. There's not very many Nevis in the US.
Was he? This is like a.
Is it in San Francisco?
Yeah, this is the Berkeley Library.
Yeah.
Digital collections, and it's like
that's where
looks like it's a picture. I think
my family immigrated to San Francisco, not through New York, and then they lived there. And he actually worked for a really private club that you can't. Like my grandparents tried to go in and see it, where he was a caddy and stuff, and
they were like, "Nah, dog."
Yeah, can't let him in.
Wow.
So pretty fancy stuff. But yeah, you know, the rags to riches story of like it actually kind of it's fairly similar to the legend of Bagger Vance.
Will Smith
Except it's not
played
Will
your
Smith.
great grandfather.
Kind of, yeah. But it is like he was a caddy and then he ended up being really good. And yeah, that whole
Now, at
story.
any point, did your great grandfather slap someone making a roast joke about your wife, his wife,
You
your
know,
grandmother?
I wouldn't put it past him. He was supposedly pretty grumpy.
I love how Will Smith had this big storied career, and that's all anyone's
This
going
is
to remember
all
him for
anybody's gonna
now.
remember. Yeah.
It's just this big
I don't
mistake.
know how you come back from that.
I mean, I
He's
bet you
been-
he will. I bet you, like in 10 years, people are going to forget, you know. And I'm
Yeah,
basing
well-
this entirely upon like Louis C.K. winning a
Winning a
Grammy,
Grammy
and
this
Bill
year,
Cosby
yeah.
getting let out of jail. And it wouldn't surprise me if everyone forgave Harvey Weinstein too soon.
Well,
Like,
and in the grand scheme, and maybe that's just because I'm a woman, but those things seem far worse than what he did.
oh yeah,
You know,
so he's
not that
probably
you
gonna
should
be
hit
okay.
anybody, but also that Chris Rock was like, he can stay, that's fine. You know, not a lot of women are like, yeah, my rapist can just hang out here. I could see him figuring it out somehow.
Speaking of comics working still,
that a rapist.
how is Crystalia still working?
I don't know. But this is okay. So I saw Chad Daniels a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how his daughter was like afraid he was going to get canceled. She's like, Dad, you can't say that. You can't say that. If you don't know Chad Daniels, he's a very good stand-up comedian.
Very funny stand-up.
Yes.
Comedian.
And Dad, you can't say that. And he's like, look, I can't get canceled. No one can get canceled. Your fan base shifts. That's what happens. So, which is very true for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it shifted. And he goes, and that's your punishment. Now those are the people who want to see you. So if you aren't a bad person, then that bothers you. You don't want that to be your fan base. If you were a bad person, it probably doesn't really bother you. But so those guys, the reason they don't get canceled, they don't disappear, is because their fan base has just shifted to people who are cool with pedophilia and sexual assault and stuff like that. Basically, a bunch of dudes who probably did all those things are also who's in your audience now.
So true. Chad Daniels, one of the best comics out there.
Yeah, really nailed it on that one.
Really freaking nailed it. Monica.
What about those guys going on vacation for too long?
Too long. They're going on vacation way too long. I think we covered the topic pretty well, though. Did you want to do the charity for the week?
We got real off topic, but yes, of course. We'd love to do the charity for the week. All right. Environmental stuff has been weighing on my heart yet again.
Monica's looking out the window solemnly while she said that, by the way. Everybody.
Yes, I found a cool one, I thought. It's called the Union of Concerned Scientists, which is an environmental charity, and they focus a lot on advocacy for, preventing climate change and those kinds of things. I just loved that it was like, look, we're scientists and we're concerned. So we're going to form a group and I just feel like that's who I want to listen to when we're talking about climate change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this seemed interesting, but I did look it up, and obviously there's a lot with making changes about policies and certain things that are on a grander scale, which is what I think has to be done as far as environmental health goes. So that is the Union of Concerned Scientists, and it's ucsusa.org.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, this was a great episode. I think we really nailed it today.
I had a fun time. Yes, thank you.
Is there anything you want to say to the listener before we go?
I love you so much.